on the air and free for everyone. You have the power. Connect to 526-5738 or go to kpft.org today. Relevant talk, information, and great music. This is Community Media, KPFT.
Hey everybody, this is Big Kev, and don't forget to tune in Tuesday mornings, 3 to 5 a.m. right here on KPFT for the Roots Rock Revolution program. Because I don't even know what I'm going to play, but I guarantee we'll have a good time together. So check us out, Tuesday mornings, 3 to 5 a.m., KPFT, Houston.
Good evening. You're listening to LivingArt on the mighty 90 KPFT 90.1 FM in Houston. And it's great to have you with us this evening. Really good that you tuned in. We're going to have a great show. A singer-songwriter from Houston is with us. But before we introduce Tom Foti, I would like to say hi to Michael Carson.
How's it going, Michael?
Hi, Michael Carson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm hanging in there, yeah. It's the end of the semester, and we're nearing summer, and all is well in Houston.
Yes, yeah. Beautiful day out there. A lot of people out and about. It's a gorgeous city, and it's good to be here.
Yeah. Got anything to report?
Just remind, this is LivingArt, right? And we appreciate any kind of support you can give LivingArt. If you jump on kpft.org and give a quick donation, we're here to help out the local art community to celebrate this town and the art that it creates. And any support you could give us would be much appreciated.
Yeah, you can go to kpft.org and check us out there and click on donate. And yeah, the fund drive starts tomorrow, so we'll be raising money for this effort, this mighty human effort to keep Pacifica on the air, keep Texas free. Do what you can to support this community-sponsored. It's all about you, the listener, who is finding some value in unique and local voices.
Yeah, one of the last spaces available where you can have community radio, and this has been going on 50-odd years now, keeping going, and you make it happen, and we're here for you, and we appreciate you being out there, and if you can support us in any way, that would be awesome. Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about, but I think maybe we need to get our bearings here and maintain some focus and introduce Tom Foti, who is a Houston singer-songwriter, and welcome to LivingArt, Tom.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
I was so honored. We were so honored to have you actually call in and say, hey, you guys do a great show, and then we started a correspondence, and we finally got you in the studio. That's so great.
Your show was like Brigadoon to me.
Brigadoon.
I guess I have to explain that to people. So Brigadoon was this a play, I guess on Broadway, and these hunters, who's the Gene Kelly, I think, and Van Johnson, were hunting out in Scotland, and out of nowhere they come upon this village from 200 years ago.
We're old fashioned.
Yeah. Well, it's not the old fashioned part. Mm-hmm. It's this kind of like, it's like the land of Oz in the middle of that you didn't know was here kind of thing. Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I got you. Yeah.
And I started listening to this show. I'm like, wait, these guys are talking about stuff. You know, and I don't want to sound like an elitist. You know, I love all kinds of conversations, but you don't hear, I don't know, the deep dives. You know, and looking into you're talking about movies and things like that. And when you're talking, you had a poet in here, or a couple of poets in on your show, but the way you address the subject matter, you know, to me was like, wow. You know, they're looking at in perspectives that I had not heard, that I didn't hear a lot of, you know. So I was very excited, and I called up on the show. I said, hey, you want to listen to my stuff? So
It's so honored to that's what you hope, right? That people are listening in and you're stimulating some interest. And yeah, we got a lot of response to our talk about war movies. And, you know, it kind of is an honor to do this. And it's really special to have people say, yeah, I wanted to go and watch Apocalypse Now again and see into it, something I hadn't seen before. So it's such an honor to have you say that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the ripple effect, you guys, right?
No, definitely. Yeah, it's great because, I mean, we tried to think of the show as a place where you can have like conversations that people aren't having about art, like in new ways.
Right.
And it's wonderful that it worked like that. Like people heard it in new ways, right? You know, it seemed exciting. And I love this Brigadoon metaphor. This is awesome.
Are you familiar with the show?
I'm
with
not,
the movie
but
at all?
I'm going to go watch it now.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
the point wasn't the old-fashioned thing. It was
Right.
just it was just this village out of the middle of nowhere, you know,
Right.
that was almost supernatural.
Right,
You know,
no, I got you.
So the story is that the Brigadoon village only shows up like one day out of every 100 years.
Okay.
Right, because I guess who the heck knows? I forget now who did it. There was a wizard or something there, and he said he wants his village to live in peace.
Right.
So then they're gonna be like off the charts for 100 years. You
Right.
know? And the next day when they wake up in the morning, it's gonna be 100 years later.
Okay, that's a fun story.
We'll consider that like we're an oasis.
Yeah, every
Oh,
Wednesday.
there you
We're every Wednesday, though, instead of every 100 years.
That's
Yes.
yes.
So tell us about your life in Houston. What's it about, Tom?
Well, let's see. I moved here in 2010, and so what's that? 13 years.
From where?
I'll give you two guesses.
New York.
I moved here from New York City. I grew up in New Jersey.
Okay.
Jersey.
But-
Where in Jersey?
I'm East Orange, just right. We lived on the border of Newark, so
Okay. All right. Yeah, I know where that is.
you know.
See, Carson's from.
Yeah, I went
The-
to school up
the
in
East,
Boston, and
so-
I grew up in Maryland.
I'm letting you two take
I have
over
a
the
lot of
show.
friends from Jersey, so I've been in that area. Yeah.
Yeah, Maryland's not too far. I got a buddy who's a Baltimore cop
Okay.
down there, so I spent some time there. My brother Jim, who works for the Department of Labor now, but he's listening. Hey, Jim, he worked in D.C.
Okay.
So that's not too far from Maryland. So I was down there, put a lot of time down there.
Okay. Awesome.
He
It's good
lived
to
in
have
the-
you down here, though. That's cool.
Yeah, well, now we're getting to the part where, I mean, God put me here. I could almost hear his voice in my mind saying, Tom, I'm going to put you here until you can deal with the summertime here. You know? And so far, it's 13 years. I haven't gotten any better.
Yeah. Enjoy the May. Yeah. Before we
Yeah,
get to
this is it. Now, what was it? June, July, August, September, October. The next 5 months, I have a little thing in my head, you know, because I'm Catholic, right? And in the Catholic religion, there's something called purgatory. Now, I don't know if it's in all Christian religions or whatever, okay? But purgatory is like, well, if you were good, but not quite good enough to get into heaven just yet, you got to do a couple years in purgatory. And
Right.
purgatory is like there's flames. You purge things, right? But it's
Right,
not
right.
as hot as hell.
Right. Okay.
And I always think that now that I've been living in Houston for 13 years, I can skip purgatory.
You got that
You
part
know?
over with. Yeah.
If I'm close to getting to heaven, they're just going to scoop me up.
Yeah.
You know?
See, I used to. I think that's a trope, like people hating the summers here. But there's a good friend of the show, Gertrude Barnstone, who's been on several times. She's passed the last few years, but she used to just love the summers, and I'd go visit and have coffee with her from time to time. And she convinced me. I think she was maybe in her late 80s, and she convinced me, like, don't see the heat in a single way.
I like that.
see the heat in a
its mind
what?
never matter.
She
in some
embraced
ways.
the heat.
Yeah,
She
you can-
wanted the summer.
You can do that. You can like tell yourself it's enjoyable. Yeah.
Okay, so you just basically you're saying that you can look at it in a different way.
Right. I've been here 13 years, and so in August I start to do something similar, and it starts to shift. I will also say, like, having lived in Boston, that it's actually hotter there because there's no AC anywhere. I feel during the summer in Boston versus down here, you have AC everywhere, so you can escape
that is a big difference.
Yeah,
in Jersey, not everything has central air.
Right. Yeah.
So, and when you're in your home and maybe you have one, I don't know. I'm sure a lot of homes are completely, totally air conditioned. But the singer-songwriters didn't have an air conditioner in every room, let's say. So, a lot of times you're battling through the heat in the summer. You got the shades up and the screen's down, and you're having the old rotary fan or whatever, and suffering through. I was in San Francisco one time, and it was late August, early September, right? And there was a heat wave.
Okay.
Now, you guys know the Mark Twain quote about San Francisco?
I don't think so.
The coldest winter I remember was a summer in San Francisco.
That's fair, yeah.
Okay. So there it is. It was a heat wave, right? And it's late August, early September. And none of the places had air conditioning, right? Now, it was only 80 degrees, which is in Houston, that would, that's
Right.
ice cold, right?
Right.
But you go into a restaurant there and everybody's sweating to death because nobody has air conditioning.
It's a big difference, yeah.
Well, besides complaining about the weather, what else do you do? What's your life about
So
here?
do you
That'll take half an hour.
do you write songs about, since you've been here, or you've been a songwriter your whole life? Or when do you start writing songs?
Okay, so, the history, huh? Okay, I went to Seton Hall University. You might not know Seton Hall down here. They're most famous for basketball. They have a good business school, of course, but I mean they're most famous on the as far as countrywide for basketball because they get in the tournament. A lot of they weren't there this year, but if you were in New York City, you would know Seton Hall because they just have a good name in the area, right? In Jersey and New York. But I was down at I graduated Seton Hall, and I'm sorry, I'm one of these people who did not go along with what you were supposed to do when you got out of college.
It's a good thing.
Okay? Like everybody else went and got a job, with their college degree. And that I had a mental block with that. Like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to go now into an office and, and do stuff for 9 hours a day.
Right.
I don't know. And I just, I just didn't do it. I just escaped it in any way I could. I bartended, so I was bartending at this place down down the shore called Jerry Lynch's, down at the Jersey Shore. And my buddy Joe Alexander was a bartender. His uncle was Jerry Lynch, and he was a great singer. So me and him, I said, Joe, why don't we do a couple songs one day because your uncle owns the place, And me and my sister Ann actually was in that first day that we did, and so we had a trio, and and then that was it, right? And then I said, the heck with this, that was good. Let me go get more bookings. Well, I got more bookings, and Joe didn't know we were going to get more bookings, right? And this is the first time my sister Annie, she's probably listening to this. Annie, I never told you this. This is a big confession, but why not have everybody hear it?
It's time to do it.
The reason you were in the group after that is because I needed your guitar. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Annie. Yeah.
No, sorry, Annie. But no, she's done recordings with us. We have a song called Goodbye that's kind of a family song. I wrote it for my parents, God rest their souls. And my dad played mandolin, and my mom sang, and my sister Annie sang on it. And it's actually one of my more popular songs. You guys don't have it. I didn't give it to you. I just gave you the albums. But I'll give you the link. You can listen to it. It's called Goodbye, and it's about, if you don't know you're ever going to see the people again, you want to say goodbye now and tell them that they mean something to you.
Right. Okay.
That's, well, anyway.
Especially if you stole their guitar.
So, yeah, and I use my sister's guitar.
You bring back flashes of things that I'm ashamed of. I have a large family. Like I sold a car to my sister, and I'm still mortified every time I think about it because I needed a truck, and I drove my car up there, which didn't have air conditioning, kind of like on its last leg, and it broke down on her, and these things we carry with us all of our lives. I don't know how bad you feel about this guitar moment, but you brought that back to me.
Well, I mean, me and my sister, we're fine. We've been in a lot of shows together, and in a way, she skipped 9 rough years because she's actually on one of my more popular songs. And she didn't have to go out and slumming through all the lousy gigs that we did.
She got the good stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of the gigs were good.
You were writing songs before this? Like were you just always writing?
No.
Or you just started?
I like to write, and I'm an aspiring novelist. Aspiring is a weird thing to say, but I have one novel called The Chance to Return, and that's finished. That's kind of on the shelf here for me. But the novel I'm working on now is called Valhalla. It's science fiction with a message, kind of like the Vonnegut kind of style of science fiction. Okay. Yeah. I'm really happy with it. I'm almost done with it. My buddy Chris Lange is reading it for me, and I'm getting a lot of great feedback. You have some pages you talk about. You want to take a look if you want.
Always.
But so I love to write. And when we started the group, Bruce Springsteen was really big, and of course he's from Jersey, and that was like, oh man, I want to be like Springsteen.
Yeah, your covers do a little Springsteen feel to them, like on the railroad tracks. That one. I had that feeling when I saw it. Yeah.
But plus, Springsteen is Springsteen. He's going to influence you, especially if you're from Jersey. But then I just said, well, this is what I want to do. So I started writing songs, and we got a good group together. First called the Zoo Crew, then called the Madcaps. My buddy John Doyle, our friend Carl Sharrow was on drums, and we were playing great places. We played the Stone Pony. We actually played the CBGBs. We played the Bitter End. We did a lot of gigs at Kenny's Castaways. Maybe you don't know these groups, but the folks up there will. Although all those places are gone except for Stone Pony. That's still there. That was like Bruce's hangout.
Right, yeah.
Okay. And we had friends in a band called the Smithereens. In fact, Dennis played with us. The drummer, Dennis Dykin, played with us for a year. And they made it. Like, made it. Like, they got Rolling Stone's new album of the year.
Wow, okay.
They were on Saturday Night Live. Oh, and check this out. They played at Radio City Music Hall, right? Mm-hmm. And since we knew them, we got tickets to the show, and they met us afterwards. But they were warming up Lou Reed. Think about that for a second.
You've made it.
So those guys, so we were really thought we were going to do it. And then, you get to a point where it's going to happen or it's not, and it didn't. Mm-hmm. Then I had another band called The Band Next Door, and we have 6 records online. One of those records is that Goodbye record I just told you about. It was like my family with The Band Next Door. And one of the critic, Bob Macon, from New Jersey, said it was pop perfection. So hey, all right. But they were excellent musicians and great performers. We had Eric and Tommy and John, Eric Size, Tommy Bonacis, and John Oakes. And we were putting on great shows, but I think the focus wasn't there. To like, man, we really got to make it. We all got to, it just wasn't completely there to do it as a group.
Right.
And at some point I said, you know what? I'm just going to learn how to do this myself. So, anyways, skip 15 years. But, and when I moved to New York City, I played in the subway a lot. And that to me was like a college education.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Detail that. I mean,
how was that a college education?
All right, let's see. How are we doing on time? Because I could,
we have plenty of time.
It'll be 12 o'clock when I'm done here.
You are listening to Living Art on KPFT Houston. Our guest is Tom Foti, singer-songwriter now in Houston, once upon a time from Jersey.
He's about to tell us about New York subway being a singer-songwriter.
Okay, so I was in real estate in New York, and after real estate, because there were times when I did have jobs, okay? And I was a salesman working at a very classy timeshare in New York City. Had an apartment in Midtown, and then I went out. I left that for another real estate job. But then the real estate market in 2008 went boom, right? Mm-hmm.
It was called the Great Recession.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I subleased my Midtown apartment, and I moved to the Bronx. I was in Brooklyn for a while, and I was in the Bronx for a while, and. Anyways, I said, okay, you know what else I did? I became an actor, and I got work on TV shows and movies as an extra. I prefer the word background talent, but, you might know as extra, right? So, but I'm on a lot, you'll be watching tonight and you'll see me. I'm on a lot of the stuff, just like for 2 seconds, whatever. But, so I did that, and I started playing my guitar in the subway, right? And the first time I'm like, well, geez, you're all nervous. You're playing your guitar in a subway. There's all kinds of crazy people there, and nobody wants to hear you. So I started. My first time I did it, the cop came and says, "You can't do this." I said, is it illegal? He goes, no, somebody complained.
He's like, I'm just being nice.
Right?
This is a low.
And basically, I was yelling too loud. And because
Okay.
I'm thinking I'm competing with the trains, right?
There's an art to it. Okay, I gotcha.
So I guess I can get into this little 2-minute story. Hang on a second.
Okay. So it takes a touch. There's an art to
So were you
singing
like
in the subway.
Were you in the central area where everyone's like kind of flooding through one of the bigger stations, or were you like off?
Well,
like,
that was by Lincoln Center where the cop threw me off. So, yeah, that's kind of like in the middle of,
Okay.
And I don't play real loud or sing real loud. You guys have my stuff, right? So I had to balance it out and find a place in a subway that was more conducive to my sound, A. But that wasn't even the issue, okay? So I kept playing, and I'm getting like pennies and dimes and nickels, right? And there was this fella, he called himself One, all right? He was a black gentleman about 40, 45. He wore a hood and sunglasses, right? And you know that the tubs that they have, cement in or whatever, the white tubs,
Yeah.
right? So he would take these empty white tubs and he would saw them in different angles and stuff in different levels. And he'd take drumsticks and he would just pound in the back of the white tubs and he'd sing. And it was glorious.
Right.
He would draw crowds. Like people would just come around and they put money in his, in his tub and so on, And so I finished playing one day because there's spots. There's recognizable spots that people on the subway know that's where you play, right? People who play on the subway know that's a spot. They're going to wait till he's done with that spot and go get his spot, okay? So I was done, and the guy comes up to me, and he goes, "You're a B performer." I said, "Huh?" He goes, "You're a B performer." I said, "Okay, well, how do I get to be an A performer?" He goes, "Put your guitar back on," right? And so he instructed me, for months, right? And we did the first few songs, right? And for a while, and he goes, "Okay," we stopped, right? And he goes, "Sit down, take your guitar off." And he takes the tub off and puts it upside down, right? Now the trains had just cleared off. There's nobody in the place but me and him, right? And he takes the drumstick and he goes, "Tell me what you hear." And he bangs on the bottom of the tub, right? And I listened. I went, "I hear an echo." He goes, "Right." He goes, "If you can't hear your echoes, you're singing too loud."
Okay.
It was Zen,
Right.
And he goes, "You always have to hear your echoes," and
It makes you listen. Is the point?
It's also how it carries. He goes, "Don't worry about the other people." He goes, "What you're doing here is affecting the other people in some way or other." And he said, you can't see me I'm on the radio, folks, but you could just put your arm out to the side, and it's going to have some effect on somebody 100 feet away. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's like in some way, right? So he goes, it's not, I guess I'm going to paraphrase. It's not that you have to sing so loud that people can hear. You have to sing so good that they're going to want to listen.
Okay.
Makes
Okay?
sense, yeah.
And so I sang in the subway for about 2 or 3 years, and I really felt at the time I left like, wow, okay, I know how to do this. I miss it a little bit. I wish there was a
I
subway
love all
here.
the constructive criticism you got down there. People are helpful in New York.
Well, hey.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget if you're in the subway and you're not doing somebody likes, on the good side, you're not going to make any money. On the bad side, God knows what it could be risky to your physical health. Okay, so I never had an issue with that though. So thank God.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so anyways, I played the subway, but all along, it's funny. When you're a successful songwriter, like I don't know, when you're Fleetwood Mac in the '70s or whatever, and you have your 2 or 3 good albums, and then people just fall off the cliff as far as writing really, really good music that reaches everybody, right? Now, I think it was Neil Sedaka, who you might not know. Does that ring a bell, Neil Sedaka?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He had a song called I Missed
Sedaka is back, I think.
Sedaka's back.
Yeah.
Yes. He
I
actually had
missed
a reemergence. But he was one of these songs. Did you hear about this? The CBS room where Laura Nyro and was it Neil Diamond? Give me there was Carole King, right, and Laura Nyro. And there was 3 or 4 great songwriters, like including Neil Sedaka, and they wrote all these great hits, right? Anyways, he had a song called "I Miss the Hungry Years," right? Which means, I'm successful now, and I kind of missed the time when I wasn't in a way because it brought something out of me.
Right, yeah.
You know? Well, I guess I listened to that song once too often.
Stayed in the hungry years.
Well, I stayed in those hungry years, baby.
Producing though, you're producing. That's what matters.
Yeah, but it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. I keep writing songs because things move me in a certain way, and maybe if I was satisfied in other ways in my life, they wouldn't. You know,
Right.
I wouldn't notice them. I wouldn't care. You know?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the
That's
answer.
fascinating.
to
Yeah,
that
like, does
question.
art need that tension or that suffering in some way? And you do see that with successful artists in all different genres. Like when they've hit like a stride, there's something that goes away from their stuff. You know, the power. It can happen. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the Van Gogh motif there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Just never ever made it when he was alive. But his stuff, he was always reaching.
Right.
I think Emily Dickinson is similar in that way. You know, most of all of her poems she wrote, you know, just for herself.
Right. Right.
You know, so.
Yeah.
But you want an audience at the same time.
But she wanted an audience at the same time.
You do want every
Or
artist wants.
people in general are just. I guess it's back to the guy who helped you out in the subway. You know, like he's thinking like you have to think of your audience, right, to produce the art. But yet some of these people never have the audience. It's a weird space to be in, like a Dickinson and.
Well, the subway covered that. Because one of the things the subway taught me playing in the subway was how to play for one person. You know what I'm saying? It's like that intimate thing when it's somebody and they're sitting down and you know they had a lousy day, you know, and you're just playing something soothing, you know. All right, one last story about the subway, okay? So, sorry, I took a sip. So I'm playing in this, it was not far from Times Square. And there was this little stretch of hallway where people had to walk from one side of the train to the other, right? It had great acoustics, but it wasn't that big, right? And I was playing it, and there was a time when there was only one guy there, and he was a homeless guy. Homeless, laying on the ground, maybe 15 feet away from me, right? So, and this is after people, he wasn't, I mean, there was people were in and out. And all of a sudden it was just me and him, you know, and he's laying on the ground, right? And I played 500 Miles by the Kingston Trio. You might not. Lord, I'm one, Lord, I'm two, Lord, I'm three, Lord, I'm four, Lord, I'm 500 miles away from home, right?
Wow. Yeah.
And I played the whole song, right? And I stopped, right? And the guy as far as I know, he was passed out. He gets up, walks past me, reaches in his pocket, pulls out whatever change he has, slings it into my case, and walks on.
That's an incredible story. That's like one of my favorite stories.
Yeah. So that's how you know you're doing something to touch somebody, you know? All right, I'm going to take my phone out because I can't talk forever. Let me see what we got.
No, that's awesome. And so your lyrics, though, like in terms of writing your own lyrics, do you have like something that you focus on in terms of a type? Because from what I've seen, that you have kind of different subjects, but is there something that you go toward always, or is there some kind of theme, or
Wow. Hang on.
or just whatever kind of strikes your fancy?
All right, let's see. This is the first album. Tortola was about a girl. I Learned How to Love was kind of about a girl. Land to Cry was about healing. I mean, that was important to me.
Right.
Okay. Choices. And by the way, folks, I'm reading off the songs off my Anybody's Guess album. My name is Tom Foti, so it's F-O-T-I, but you could pronounce it Foti, F-O-D-Y, because I'm Americanized, I guess, although I'm an Italian. And so if you go on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, whatever, you know, you can get, Apple, you can get all these songs. But I'm looking at my Anybody's Guess album. So, yeah, there's a song called Land to Cry. I actually co-wrote it with my buddy Carl Z. God rest his soul, he's gone. Carl Zambelli. And Choices is a damn... Okay, I'll tell you this. Should I do this? Why not?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'll tell you the story.
It's
of
your
how Choices
show,
came
man.
into
You got
being,
the
okay?
hour.
Andy, my sister says she's mentioned in the first 5 minutes. Give me a second. Okay, so my buddy Carl and me, he was the quarterback for Seton Hall University back when they had a football team. And we were both graduates. We were both of this kind of like rebellious, like, I'm not going to get into this system. You know, I'm not going to be part of this.
Anti-establishment.
Yeah. Anti-establishment, or just... I don't know. Is there a better is there a better term for corporate world if you're not a corporate person? You know, We were the round pegs in the square holes or whatever, right?
That's all of us here at KPFT. So
That's it.
Yeah,
no,
with you.
KPFT is the oasis.
Your people.
Without a doubt. Okay. So anyway, but for years we were bartending, you know, and bartending in these crazy places. When I say crazy, it was crazy. There's a place called Paul's Tavern back on South Orange Avenue in Newark. And it was at one time a Seton Hall hangout. It was at one time a hangout for the local Vailsburg kids who were city Newark kids, okay? It was a biker hangout for the pagans. There was a biker, you know, Hell's Angels is West Coast, pagans was East Coast, right? And it was can I say this?
Just don't cuss.
Like The Sopranos. Everybody knows The Sopranos,
Right?
okay? Mm-hmm. Well, there was a casino upstairs from the place.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it wasn't
Illegal casino.
yeah, right.
Yeah. We can handle
as long
that.
as they're not listening up there.
Right, okay,
Let's
I'm not
hope, let's
mentioning
hope no
names.
family members are listening down here.
Oh, there's another story about that, but we'll talk about it next time. But anyway, but we were bartending and we never really conformed to anything. And the point was, it was almost like we were, okay, fine, we didn't fit into the established world, but we were kind of like, in a way, wasting our lives away. You know, even though I was playing music or whatever, and we had these gigs, but we were getting silly drunk, you know, and anyway, so I decided I'm going to try to get gigs, and I had my own little apartment, and I was getting enough gigs to get by, and that's it, right? You know, but sometimes you're paying your rent a week late. It's not good. Yeah. It's not a good way to live, okay? And Carl took a job as a manager at this place called The Stuffed Shirt. And he said, man, you want to work for me, right? And I went, because I hadn't bartended in a few years now, right? I kind of cut it all out of my life. I said, okay, no, I'm going to get more focused, right? And I'm not going to, be the party animal I was. But I was in need because I was broke, And I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it, right? And then I kind of went back and forth. Again, I didn't have the rent. I'm like, if I go back to doing this, that could be another 5 years where I'm just wasting my life away. Right? Mm-hmm. And who knows? And that's a crucial 5 years, 28 to 32, whatever it was. Okay. Yeah. And I was like, so anyway, the song choices was, I'll sing you just the chorus. Okay. Anyway, I had to deliberate like crazy, go really deep down inside. If I take this job, I'll have the money, I'll be able to get through tomorrow and I'll be fine. Right. But if I take it, I may waste 5 years. Mm-hmm. And it was a very difficult decision, right? So I'll sing you this chorus. How can I make these choices? Where's the answer to be found? To take me on the way I've got to go. Can't you hear the voices making pleas without a sound? They're telling me I know. They're telling me I know.
That's gorgeous. Yeah.
You feeling that?
Did they tell you?
Yeah, they told me. They said, no, don't take the
Don't
job.
take the job.
And I didn't take it.
Wow, man, you're listening to that deep inner voice.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I feel that like crisis moment in a life, like deciding whether to make this one move or another is going to define, and there's like years that means so much. And knowing that, you can feel that all in the lyrics that you have right there.
Yeah, well, thanks so much. But it's true because you're weighing things out, and it's one of the reasons I never, and God bless everybody who did. Listen, I have relied on people who took the corporate jobs. Trust me, which is all my brothers and sisters, my older sister Maria and my older brother Gabe, and okay. I thought you were going to say try not to curse. I mentioned Jim and my younger sister Ann. So yeah, people who've taken the established route, have rescued me.
Well, here's the thing. I've got a buddy, a regular listener to the show, and we had this thing about nobody art because, he dropped out. He's in his late 70s, and he just quit college back in the 60s, right, in Florida, realizing that the establishment and this whole scene is no good, and he's very critical of art, and we're, like this idea of making it, right, and you want to eat and pay your rent. And so the compromises you have to make to be part of the world is what you're talking about.
Yeah, and are you guys Joseph Campbell fans?
Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, one of the things, Joseph Campbell was an anthropologist, okay, and he wrote
The Hero's Journey, right?
The Hero's Journey, The Power of Myth, and he came out and said, you don't have to go too far off that track of normalcy to run into a lot of brick walls real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you follow that normal path and, you go to school and you get a job and you get married by this point, you move here and you do this, in some ways you won't have that, a lot of resistance from society or culture or whatever.
You lose the starving artist aesthetic.
Well, but the starving artist thing is, it has its ups and downs. Do you know what I'm saying?
You're starving, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be both. Yeah, I mean but the two are kind of structurally separated.
But I think you're saying too, there's like a freedom when you take all those steps that society says you should. There's a certain freedom for those people because they have gone with that path, right? There's a certain flexibility. When you step off for a little bit, you start hitting walls. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about if you mean freedom when you take the normal path.
Yeah, so I guess society gives you like a trust that because you're on that path, there's more flexibility there. I don't know.
Well, then you get into my black hole thing. I told Michael that I didn't want to. One thing I said to myself: when you get on this show, do not preach.
Good.
Because I had these views like blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think that there are what's another word for powers? There are powers in our society that like everybody to walk the same walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they mold people in that regard. Now, you could say I'm paranoid, which, I've been called worse than that, But, going your own way, being the maverick or whatever is, it's such a journey where you don't know where your next step is sometimes.
Can I take a critique of that for a second? There's also forces, right? So is it possible to be an artist? In other words, art is a force, and you're participating in a certain dynamic of conversation or of art practice among other artists. And so if you're going to be an artist, you're in a social relation with people. But if there is no art, take my nobody art friend, right? If there is not a community of artists who are trying to do something different to change the world in a way that the artist is really critical about, then you can't do it anyway. I mean, you can be a success or you can be somebody who fell short of success. But what's the art about if there aren't people trying to do something different, new with art?
I don't know, Michael, if I'm getting this completely the way you said it, but one of the things I'm kind of peripherally getting from what you said is that if there wasn't something to change, what the heck would the artist be doing?
Right.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I can't. Yeah, I guess.
But if the change is, if it's just the appearance of the change, like we're going to make the world better by doing this art. Well, everybody is making the world better by doing that art, and we really don't look at it critically about what that means to pursue this belief that you're making the world better.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way.
Because it's not getting better.
Yeah, I mean, everything boils down to perspective, I guess. We talked, we robbed the audience of 10 minutes of our conversation before the show started, which had some good stuff in there. But if you are true to your art and you're an artist, okay, you're going to make it better for somebody somehow. I used to play, there was no subway down here, so I played the Valero over on San Felipe occasionally. I haven't done it in years.
Yeah. Oh, wow, okay.
But I would get out there at like 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on a Friday night and just play for a couple hours, And you're playing, people are getting out of their cars to go to the, Valero is like, I'm trying to relate this to my friends up in New Jersey and New York. It's like a 7-Eleven, okay? Gabish? It's like you get out of your car, and you're going in and out of the place. So you have 20 seconds to do something, Mm-hmm. But if you're in your zone, and you're feeling it, you're catching them, And they're going to come out not only and tip you, but say, hey, man, I really like what you're doing. And sometimes you'll get somebody sitting down next to you, and who knows what's on their mind. And sometimes you're playing, and people just open up to you with their stories, But I had this one girl, and she was troubled about something. She listened to 2 or 3 months throughout my song. She goes, whatever you do, don't stop singing. Okay? Yeah, hey, there's riches of different kinds, folks. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like a ton of experience with that kind of really personal art, like when you're playing for people in the subway or at Valero's and everything like that. When we think about art communicating, I mean, it's doing it right in front of you. That's amazing to see.
Yeah. And it's coming. Hey, what is art if it's not feeling, right? If you're not engendering some kind of feeling, And also, I think that's what's missing in our kind of like cookie cutter society, So the feeling that you feel inside is kind of touching them, and it's making them feel more alive, Now, what I'd like to do, I'm playing a place called the Rustic. By the way, can I do a plug?
Yes.
Go for it,
I'm playing this weekend, and I
would
told...
definitely put a plug in for that.
Let me a second. Where is she? Where are you, Grace? Okay. If this sounds like I'm reading it, sorry. I can say something like this. The Island Grill out in the spring has put together a family fun day to bring the community together this Saturday from May 6th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I will be there, me, Tom Foti, performing live, and there will be complimentary face painting, balloon art, camo dog rescue, you got to like that, adoptables, the Spring Fire Department, and an exclusive $10 and under menu. Come in and bring the family and enjoy great food and fun. Okay, that's going to be the Island Grill in spring.
You just can't plug the costs or anything like that, but you
I
can
take
announce
back the whole $10 thing.
Yeah, you didn't hear that, listeners, but I think we're off the hook.
Be edited for the. It's 1701 City Plaza Drive, Suite 120, Spring, Texas. Anyways, but I'm playing
What's the name
Rustic.
of the place so people can Google it? What's the name? It's Island Grill.
Island Grill. There's a great
Spring.
family. You got Faisal and his wife Maria and their kids Grace and Michael. They have like 7 Island Grills throughout Houston. I played a couple of them. And
Be there.
anyways,
Saturday.
that's a Saturday from 10 to 2. And I'm also playing Saturday night at a place called Watson's on Route 10 and 10 and Route 6. Okay. So
people can find it.
That's covers. Now I play
this
a place
cat.
called,
You want to meet this guy. You want to go out, and I'm sure he's got CDs he'll sign for you and stuff like that. So you do not want to miss Tom Foti.
Oh, you'll be telling your grandchildren about it. Trust me. But I played the Rustic. You've been either the downtown Rustic or the Post Oak Rustic?
I haven't gone.
Okay, great places. They hold 1,000 people. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I've played for as much as 400.
Did you really?
Yeah.
And
When
you
I was in New York, I
that's
played for
big.
800 at
That's
the
huge.
Tribeca Performing Arts Center. Okay.
See, that brings me to my next question, if I can, if I'm not interrupting your thought.
Yeah, that's all right.
Do you really want to be, like a rock star from the 70s who is consigned to like playing your greatest hits? Is that, like you were talking about making it in the world, like, is that really what you want to end up doing?
I think it. There's a yes with a caveat here. Okay. When I think make it now at this stage of my life. Okay, I'm not 20 anymore. For you people who can't hear me, I think what I'm doing for one person in the subway or at the Valero. Okay, reaching people on the inside, 1,000 at a time, 2,000 at a time, 20,000 at a time. You know what I'm saying? Getting to their hearts.
That's what Jim
Morrison
Morrison wanted to do with the Doors. If you listen to HD2 Living Art, you would hear Claire Spark doing a special on Jim Morrison. But what happened was the people in the audience were like, just play Light by Fire. And Jim was trying to do something like a shaman, like reaching a higher level with his audience, and they just wanted to hear, come on, baby, light my fire.
Okay, well, it's time for a Mother Teresa quote.
Of course, yeah.
And it's not quite addressing what you're saying, but you'll appreciate, I think, how it comes in. She says, being successful will make you false friends and true enemies, but be successful anyway.
Yes, I'll buy that.
Yeah, that works.
So Mother Teresa, God rest your soul. Thank you. Saint Teresa now, I guess.
And Jim Morrison. I love this idea. Like, we're kind of getting at this, like, the radical potential of art. It can have this. This is one way it can be radical, in the way you can touch individuals, right, and see this. And when you're saying, like, reaching 10,000 people, like, inside them, is that what you were getting at?
Well, I mean,
I love that idea.
So far, when I talked about the fellow who's asleep in the subway, okay, and I sang 500 miles, and it moved him enough that he took everything out of his pocket, which might have been all he was going to have for the next 2 days.
That's your life. That's great.
Yeah, and
That's
put
the
it
most
in my
brilliant
case,
story,
right?
yeah.
I'm hoping that there's something in some of my music for everybody, okay, to reach them that deeply.
Right.
That's my goal.
You want an audience. Yeah. You're listening to Living Art, Michael Whitson with Michael Carson, and our guest is, as you know by now, appearing this week almost at a theater near you, Tom Foti.
Yeah, and Morrison wanted that back. I think that's what you're saying, Michael. Like, he got to the stage where he couldn't do that anymore in the way that he wanted to. He's touching people, but not the way he wanted to.
And he almost got too famous for his own good.
I mean, the Beatles they stopped playing live, but I mean, it kind of gets that way. Springsteen, didn't focus on doing. I can't. Can I say this about Springsteen? I'm going to retract.
Just don't
that,
trust.
Okay? They're generally artists who are sick. You're right. Of hearing them play. Hey, play Freebird. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
For the 800th time. Okay.
8,000th time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, to me, if I get to that point, it's not like I'm gonna do it with a smile on my face and just do it anyway. I'm gonna play it like they never heard it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You want something? You want to rock out with me? Let's do.
Let's heard it here on Living Art.
Well, I love that live performance can be unique each and every time. Like, and you can make this new again, even if it's a song that's familiar. I think that is.
Well, that's the beauty of it. It takes a lot of focus. It goes back to what I learned from the fella in the subway.
Right.
From that guy won. You
Right.
know. But yeah, I mean, guys. One of the reasons I couldn't get past your show is like, oh my God, what the hell? They're talking about stuff like this, right? And this is maybe getting a little too philosophic, but, how long are we here? What are we going to focus on?
Right.
Remember your death.
The important thing is momentum always, yeah.
I don't try to be morbid and look at death so much, but I do try to look like time that we have,
Let's just seize the day. This is like... Everybody should know this stuff.
Well, have you heard the quote about the old elderly woman who, when they asked, I don't know how they asked her this before she died, but what she said before she died was, "It's not the things I did that I regret; it's the things that I didn't do." Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we get into a kind of a repetition. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's do this, think this, watch this, And I can't. I have this secret. I don't know if it's secret, but I have this feeling inside me. As much as I love everybody who's conventional, of course, and my friends listening to me, that there are times deep in their hearts, sometimes when they kind of say to themselves, "I wonder what it would have been like if I did this," or if I focused on this, It's like if me going the road less traveled, can somehow reflect something to them. Hey, look, I know how you feel. I got you covered on this. Don't worry.
So you're like a mirror for their other lives that they could have led. Almost.
I mean, a little bit. What do people look at artists for anyway? I mean, just to be entertained, sure, and to forget about today. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I mean, there's Paul Simon had some great poetry. You ever hear the Dangling Conversation song?
Mm-mm. I haven't.
I recommend to anybody not listening, and it's about a kind of husband and a wife who've it's not like they drifted apart, but they drifted into cliches.
Right.
You know what I mean? And maybe him singing that song, and feeling that, and when people are in those instances hear that, they might say, hey, something? Maybe I'll do something a little differently tomorrow.
Right.
No, art can have an effect.
Or at least they're conscious of something missing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a start.
Yeah, I mean,
isn't it?
It wakes them up out of that cliche. It wakes them up to their own being almost. I feel like art, like it wakes them up to themselves, and that's exciting when people engage with it that way. And I think that's what art for me can do. It can make people be themselves or see themselves suddenly and get out of those cliches that you mentioned, like whether it be husband, wife, or whatever role you have in society.
Whatever your role, and you have to play roles, of course, you know. But but I mean, meeting yourself, and sometimes it's scary to meet yourself. You know what I mean? But to face things in your life that you don't normally look at, you know, whether it's painful things like I talk about in the Land of Cry, you know, that we have to kind of get inside and get to the things that are bothering us, because in a way they're limiting us.
Right.
You know?
It's a brilliant phrase, Land of Cry, like this landscape for it. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Actually, the fellow who died, Carl, God bless him, that was his title.
Okay.
You know, and he had the first 4 verses written, and I just kind of like took the idea and wrote all the rest of the verses and wrote the music. Okay. You know, but yeah, I mean, to me, I look at life like it's a miracle. You know.
I have a psychoanalytical question for you, unless I interrupted somebody.
Go ahead.
What makes you sensitive? Because that's the word that struck me most looking at your lyrics and listening to your songs, is that you're a very sensitive person. Where do you think that started? How did you become like that?
Like sensitive to the world?
To the world, yeah. To people's feelings?
3 words. Catholic grammar school. I joked that I suffered a daily beatdown by the Filipino nuns. When you have something in your life that is troubling you, that it's difficult, especially if you're young, you know, let me give you a little bit of an example, okay? You know when you're in a supermarket and you're picking up the peaches and the pears, the apples or whatever, I'm looking at them, right? And what happens when you drop one? You pick it up, and here's that bruise. Am I right? Okay. For a young person, when they get bruised, it doesn't go away, just like that apple. That bruise is going to be there forever. Okay? So you're dealing with stuff from your youth that hurt, you know? And I think, not that I want to confess everything in my life here, but I think...
it makes good radio. Well, tell us about the nuns if you don't want to get too personal. Okay. How did those Filipino nuns?
Okay. All right. What the hell?
Don't let me interrupt your thoughts.
I don't know, but do you want to do a song tonight at some point, or what are you thinking?
You got 10 minutes.
You guys, should we do a song? Or should we?
I want to hear about the nuns, but you already sang 2 songs. You're good.
Well,
you know what's up, folks? I was going to do a song called Gunga Din, but you know what? You listen to it if you want. Again, on Apple or iTunes.
Just don't be disappointed, Tom. It's your hour.
Well, no, it's okay. But you know, it has the background vocals and everything. You know.
Okay.
And I could tell you this story. So
definitely check it out, people. It's beautiful music.
Oh, I tell you what. I'll tell you the story why Gunga Din is. We were going to talk about war, but we didn't get to that. Okay?
Next time.
All right. So Gunga Din was a poem by Rudyard Kipling. Okay, and his story about Gunga Din was he was a soldier back in 1890 whatever, when the British were taking over India, right? And by some of the Indians actually started working for him, and Gunga Din was a water boy, right? And they would slap him around and call him all kinds of names and slurs, you know, and abuse him and treat him horribly, right? But he was always there, 20 feet back to the flank, and always there when we needed him. And of course, one time, at a very crucial moment, Gunga Din jumps in front of a bullet, okay, and dies, so the soldier could live, right? Now you might say to yourself, wow, how heroic that Gunga Din was, right? I look at it a different perspective, okay? First off, the English took over your country by force, all right? You're helping the English. You're helping the English in a fight against your other Indian people. Now, whether it was your tribe or not, I don't know, okay? They're slapping you around and calling you names, all right? And you're going to jump in front of a bullet? Let me see, maybe I should do this. I don't know, maybe I should.
Yeah, why not?
Okay?
I mean, we can do it. We'll end with it. Yeah, I think it's a fun story to think about, like where you're going with that too. I mean, that's the Kipling problem, if you remember. You know Kipling, right?
Yeah,
Michael?
A little bit.
Some people have some issues. Kipling does these beautiful works of art and beautiful poems, but he definitely is from the British, like, imperial perspective. And so this is celebrating this young Indian boy who died for British troops. And the question, though, which I think this song is going to ask, is like whether yeah, we should be celebrating this in that way, right? Is there something a little off about a young Indian who died for the British, right, when his country's taken over by the British?
Okay, Michael, you got the sound there?
Yep, you're good. You have,
can you hear my voice on the
we
guitar
have like
here?
7 minutes, so.
Okay, this is
Plenty of time,
3,
plenty
okay?
of time, plenty of time.
2, 3, 4. Wait a minute, I got to tighten this a little bit because it cranes my neck.
Live radio, KPFT, Houston.
Okay,
Living
gang,
Art.
this is called Gunga Din. You're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. For you see the cause is worth all that you have to give. Where the others fail, you bravely try again. You're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. Can I see the greater picture with your eyes? Will I know that it deserves this kind of sacrifice? Will I see that that's just what it takes to win? You're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. Din. Though you know it's only moments till the end is here. Though the world may stop, you calmly just begin. You're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. You know all you do, but are you sure if you are doing something you know in your heart is true? Would you feel the same so many years from now? When the memories have faded and the legend dies, when the tales of old have vanished in the wind, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. What'd you think?
I'm glad you did that. That was gorgeous.
Thank you so much. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I love this like tension between. I mean, the chorus, right? You're a better man than I am. Like, there's a space there, right? Trying to figure out what made him do that and the questions behind that. There's so much there. Or so do you think? And that distance between the myth itself is hard because I mean, so many people in our audience probably have never heard of him, right? And then
of Gunga Din.
Gunga Din, I
guess Kipling fans would, but
Kipling, yeah, they're smaller and smaller group every year, right? And so, but this idea of being the myth and what's lost to time, I think there's something really powerful in there, and the questions that you ask at the end.
Well, I mean, yeah. The point is, the guy Kipling ends the song. You know, though I have belted you and flayed you, but the living God that made you, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din.
Okay. All
and
right.
I'm just taking that word, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din, and let's think about this, Gunga Din.
Right.
What the heck are you doing?
Yeah,
You know?
the different levels of what that means,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, to be a better man, and the questioning in that too, the way that Kipling never questioned. Yeah.
Oh no, Kipling was kind of the other side of the fence with this. Trust me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if Kipling would like this rendition here. So.
That's good. Yeah, we're not a huge Kipling fan at KPFT. So.
I'm a bigger T.S. Eliot fan, of course, and gosh, I could go on forever. Poetry.
Kipling would not be Radio Pacifica. He's not pacifist
He's not.
leaning.
So I'm taking kind of an anti-Kipling look at that poem.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, and it was really, I love this idea again, like you're questioning that same line over and over again, so it means something the opposite by the end of the song.
Bingo!
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Yes, good job.
I'm glad you played that.
Fellas, I'm so happy that you guys had me on this show. I can't tell you how thrilled I was to be here. I knew I would enjoy this conversation as much as I did. I actually think I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
How about that?
All right,
well,
great.
Tell us about your gigs this weekend again.
And where they can buy your music, too.
Okay, well, you can go... You can download or listen to my music. You could stream it, again, on Spotify or iTunes or Apple Music or YouTube or pretty much anywhere where you get music, because I'm hooked up through CD Baby. It's like the middleman company. And you could just put Tom Foti, F-O-T-I, and songs, or you could put the album names, Anybody's Guess, and Through the Night. You know, you should listen to the song Goodbye by the band Next Door, which is my old band. Again, my mom and dad and my sister were on
Houston's
that.
community station for over 50 years. This is KPFT.
Worldwide at KPFT.